Have you ever felt drained after dealing with certain people? Like they just suck the energy right out of you. It's not just in your head. Some people are like emotional hurricanes, leaving turmoil in their wake. But here's a truth that most people don't realize. You don't have to let these toxic influences take up space in your life. Imagine if you could keep your peace, even around those who try to disrupt it, all by mastering a few powerful techniques rooted in ancient wisdom. Now, don't get this wrong. This isn't about being unaffected like some sort of unfeeling machine. This is about developing real, practical tools for managing toxic interactions with grace and maintaining your freedom emotionally and mentally. Think of it as building an invisible shield that deflects negativity, protects your calm, and empowers you to take control. And with insights drawn from the Stoic philosophy, you'll find that freedom is closer than you might think, ready to be unlocked with the right mindset. Curious to learn how? Let's dive in and uncover techniques that help you deal with toxic people without losing a shred of your peace. You'll discover how to set firm boundaries, maintain emotional control, and even know when to let go, all in the name of cultivating a life of resilience, strength, and emotional freedom. Stoic philosophy. In a world bustling with emotional whirlwinds, Stoic philosophy stands as a bastion of calm. It teaches us that while we can't control external forces like toxic people trying to rattle our mental cage, we certainly can master our reactions. Imagine you're at a bustling market, noise, chaos, and disturbances all around. Yet, you remain serene, unaffected by the hustle, because you've cultivated a powerful inner tranquility. This Stoic approach isn't just about enduring but thriving by keeping your emotional balance in the face of provocation. In a world bustling with emotional whirlwinds, Stoic philosophy stands as a bastion of calm. It teaches us that while we can't control external forces like toxic people trying to rattle our mental cage, we certainly can master our reactions. Imagine you're at a bustling market, noise, chaos, and disturbances all around. Yet, you remain serene, unaffected by the hustle, because you've cultivated a powerful inner tranquility. This Stoic approach isn't just about enduring but thriving by keeping your emotional balance in the face of provocation. The principles of Stoic philosophy encourage us to forge mental armor. For instance, when dealing with toxic people, think of yourself as a seasoned captain navigating stormy seas. The waves of negativity may crash against your ship, but your hand remains steady on the helm. This Stoic self-control isn't about suppression, but about understanding and managing your emotions effectively. It's like knowing when to let the sail out and when to reel it in. This knowledge keeps your boat afloat amidst emotional tempests. Applying Stoic wisdom involves practical steps too. Let's say you're consistently perturbed by a colleague's undermining comments. Instead of stewing in resentment, a Stoic detachment would have you view these remarks as clouds passing in the sky, observable but not impactful. This shift in perspective frees you from unnecessary emotional entanglements and empowers you to maintain peace. It's not about avoiding feelings, it's about aligning them so they don't overthrow your inner calm. Now, as we understand the power of Stoic resilience, let's explore how to actively shield ourselves from emotional disturbances. Self-protection techniques. Building mental fortifications can be as strategic as planning a city's defenses. Inspired by Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, we learn to erect mental walls, akin to a citadel protecting a kingdom. Imagine you're an architect designing a fortress. Each stone of your citadel represents a principle of Stoic thought: resilience, calm, and rationality. These walls aren't visible, yet they are impenetrable to the chaos toxic people might try to unleash. This visualization not only reinforces your emotional defenses, but also provides a clear mental image of strength and stability. Incorporating self-protection techniques into daily life can start with small, deliberate actions. For example, if you find yourself in a toxic environment, visualize raising these Stoic walls. This act can be as simple as taking a deep breath and reminding yourself of your core values, or as complex as meditating on the teachings of Aurelius before a stressful meeting. It's about preparing your mind to face any challenge without losing your composure. Think of it as donning emotional armor that shields you but also allows flexibility and freedom of movement. To strengthen these walls, practice becomes key. Regular reflection on your reactions and thoughts helps fortify your mental citadel. Each time you choose a stoic response over an emotional outburst, you add a stone to your fortress. This might mean writing down your frustrations and analyzing them through a stoic lens rather than lashing out. By methodically building up your defenses, you ensure that when storms come, your citadel stands firm, safeguarding your inner peace. Next, let's delve into how clearly defined boundaries act as the moat around your fortress, keeping disturbances at bay. Boundaries as defense. Boundaries are the moats around our personal citadels, essential for keeping toxic people at a safe distance. Just as a moat prevents invaders from easily accessing a castle, well-defined emotional boundaries protect our mental space from unwanted intrusions. Establishing these boundaries might look like deciding not to respond to provocations during family gatherings or setting specific times when you are unavailable for work calls. It's about knowing where your emotional territory begins and ends, and ensuring others respect that space. Communicating these boundaries is just as crucial as setting them. Imagine you're a diplomat negotiating peace terms. Your words must be clear, firm, and respectful. When dealing with people who test your limits, articulate your boundaries with confidence. Explain that while you value their presence, certain behaviors won't be tolerated. It's not about confrontation, but about maintaining respect and decorum. Regular reminders and consistent enforcement can help others learn where the lines are drawn, much like how a gardener fences off a plot to protect it from being trampled. Consistency is the key to maintaining these boundaries. Like a castle guard who vigilantly watches over the fortress, you must be diligent in upholding your boundaries. This might mean politely but firmly reminding someone when they are overstepping or choosing to remove yourself from a situation where your boundaries are not respected. By consistently reinforcing these limits, you teach others how to interact with you, minimizing the emotional drain from toxic encounters. Next, we'll explore the gray rock method, another crucial technique in diminishing the influence of toxic people in our lives. Gray rock method. The gray rock method is about becoming as uninteresting as a nondescript pebble along a busy road, hardly noticeable and rarely remembered. By maintaining emotional neutrality in the presence of toxic people, you effectively become a gray rock. This technique involves offering minimal responses and avoiding engagement in drama. Imagine you're at a social event and a known provocateur tries to bait you into an argument. You respond with simple nods or non-committal phrases like, "Oh, interesting," or "I see," thus deflecting any potential conflict without providing any emotional fuel to fan the flames. Utilizing the gray rock method doesn't mean becoming passive. It's a strategic choice to protect your emotional well-being. It's akin to a chameleon blending into its surroundings, not out of fear, but as a means of self-preservation. When a toxic person fails to get a rise out of you, their interest often wanes, and they move on to more reactive targets. This method can be particularly effective in situations where you must coexist with difficult individuals, such as in a workplace or extended family gatherings. In practice, this technique requires a level of self-control and awareness that can be challenging to maintain consistently. It's important to remain vigilant and consciously choose your reactions. This might mean rehearsing neutral responses ahead of time or mentally preparing yourself to stay calm before entering potentially triggering environments. By doing so, you ensure that you remain emotionally disengaged and over time, less affected by the toxic dynamics around you. Next, let's look at the broken record technique, which further helps in dealing with manipulative tactics without succumbing to emotional upheaval. Broken record technique. The broken record technique is an effective tool in your communication arsenal, particularly when dealing with people who use manipulative tactics to provoke a reaction. By repeating your point calmly and consistently, no matter how the other person tries to divert the conversation, you mimic a broken record. This could be as straightforward as responding with, "I understand your point, but I maintain my position whenever challenged." This method not only prevents escalation but also reinforces your stance without succumbing to frustration or anger. Implementing this technique can feel like you're practicing a martial art. Each repeated phrase is a defensive move that blocks and deflects emotional jabs. It's particularly useful in professional settings or during negotiations where being drawn into emotional dramas could undermine your credibility and objectives. By staying on message, you demonstrate resolve and control, key qualities that command respect and discourage further attempts to manipulate the conversation. To master the broken record technique, preparation is key. Before entering into potentially volatile interactions, plan your core messages and rehearse them. This preparation ensures that under pressure, you can default to these rehearsed lines naturally. Imagine you're a debater regardless of the provocations thrown at you. Your responses remain focused, clear, and repetitive, driving home your point without allowing the emotional noise to distract or derail you. Up next, we'll explore the art of non-reaction, a vital skill in maintaining emotional autonomy amidst chaos. Non-reaction art. Mastering the art of non-reaction is like learning to sit still in the eye of a storm, calm, composed, and unswayed by the chaos swirling around. By choosing silence and emotional non-reaction, you disrupt the typical dynamics that toxic people thrive on. This approach involves maintaining a serene exterior and an undisturbed mind, even when provocations are aimed directly at you. Imagine yourself as a deep-sea diver, surrounded by the pressure of the ocean depths, yet perfectly at peace within the safety of your gear, unaffected by the turbulent waters outside. This art is not about suppressing feelings, but rather about choosing when and how to express them. In practicing non-reaction, you gain the upper hand by refusing to give toxic individuals the emotional responses they seek. This could be as simple as pausing before responding to an inflammatory comment, giving yourself a moment to collect your thoughts and emotions. It's akin to a chess player, thoughtfully considering each move, ensuring that each reaction is strategic and not impulsive. Practicing this technique regularly enhances your emotional resilience. You become adept at observing your emotions without immediately acting on them. For instance, if a coworker repeatedly tries to undermine you, instead of reacting defensively, you might simply acknowledge their comments and move on, retaining your energy for more constructive endeavors. This practice of emotional detachment cultivates a deeper inner strength, preparing you to limit exposure to negative influences, which we will discuss next. Limit exposure. Limiting exposure to toxic people is a crucial strategy in safeguarding your emotional health. It's about managing how much time you spend around those who drain your energy and disrupt your peace. Think of it as setting a timer on potentially harmful interactions, much like limiting sun exposure to avoid a burn. This could mean scheduling brief, necessary communications with difficult individuals or choosing to interact with them only in group settings where their impact is diluted. Adopting a strategic approach to limiting exposure helps maintain emotional distance and ensures that your interactions are as controlled and brief as possible. For instance, if you have a family member who tends to stir up drama, you might decide to only see them during major holidays rather than more frequent family gatherings. It's akin to an athlete choosing to train in optimal conditions to preserve energy and focus for the main event. Furthermore, it's essential to actively manage your environment to minimize emotional depletion. This might involve physically rearranging your workspace to avoid regular contact with a disruptive colleague or utilizing technology to filter communications. Just as gardeners wear gloves to keep their hands clean and protected, so too should you equip yourself with tools and strategies to keep your emotional well-being intact. As we look ahead, let's explore the concept of mental detachment, which further aids in maintaining your equilibrium in the face of toxicity. Mental detachment. Mental detachment is about achieving a cognitive separation from the behaviors of toxic people, viewing their actions as external events rather than personal affronts. It involves understanding that their negative behavior is a reflection of their own internal struggles and not a valuation of your worth. Imagine watching a theatrical play. The drama unfolds on stage, intense and captivating. Yet you remain an audience member, engaged but detached, knowing the scenes don't define your reality. This perspective shift is crucial for maintaining emotional health. It helps you recognize that you're not the cause or the solution to someone else's toxicity. Practicing mental detachment might involve mindfulness techniques, where you observe your thoughts and feelings about a person's actions as if they were leaves floating down a river, noticeable but passing without leaving a mark. This approach allows you to remain emotionally available, yet unaffected by the chaos that might engulf others. By cultivating mental detachment, you enable yourself to interact with difficult individuals without becoming emotionally entangled. This skill is particularly valuable in professional settings where you may need to maintain relationships despite personal differences. Think of it as wearing an invisible shield. It doesn't make you impervious to the emotional environment, but it does prevent the majority of negative emotions from taking hold, preserving your inner peace. Let's now consider the importance of self-care and resilience in further bolstering your emotional defenses. Self-care resilience. Prioritizing self-care is akin to nurturing a garden. It's about cultivating an environment where your emotional and mental well-being can flourish. Engaging in regular self-care practices such as meditation, spending time in nature, or pursuing hobbies that replenish your energy is essential. Imagine yourself as a gardener, carefully tending to your plants. Your self-care activities are the water and sunlight that help you thrive, even in rocky soil. Resilience is built through consistent self-care, allowing you to bounce back from interactions with toxic people more swiftly and with greater ease. Incorporating resilience-building practices into your life can be as practical as setting aside time each day for quiet reflection, or as enjoyable as weekend nature hikes. Each act of self-care reinforces your emotional boundaries, making you less susceptible to external pressures and enhancing your capacity to handle life's challenges. Moreover, self-care often includes setting and respecting personal limits on your time and energy. Protecting your personal time from being encroached upon by others' demands is crucial. For instance, you might establish a ritual of unwinding in the evening with a book or a warm bath, signaling to yourself and others that this time is sacred and not available for work or stressful social interactions. By maintaining these practices, you support your overall resilience, ensuring that your support system, which we will discuss next, is complementing a well-rounded approach to emotional wellness. Support system. Having a support system is like having a safety net beneath you, ready to catch you when life's challenges knock you off balance. Friends, family, or trusted mentors provide not only encouragement but also a sense of perspective that shields you from the negativity toxic people might bring. Picture it as an anchor in a storm. Your support system keeps you grounded, helping you regain your footing when circumstances shake your resolve. Regular check-ins, whether through casual conversations or heartfelt discussions, can be invaluable for your mental and emotional well-being. Building a robust support system isn't just about surrounding yourself with people, it's about fostering relationships that uplift and empower you. A strong support network might involve a close friend who listens without judgment, a colleague who offers constructive feedback, or a mentor who shares insights on handling complex situations. By leaning on this network, you're better equipped to navigate life's ups and downs, particularly when faced with individuals who disrupt your peace. Your support system also reinforces your boundaries by validating your experiences and encouraging you to maintain your standards. For example, if a toxic person tries to invade your mental space, a supportive friend can remind you of your worth and help you reaffirm your boundaries. In this way, your network of allies not only provides emotional refuge but also strengthens your commitment to self-respect. As we move forward, let's explore the importance of accepting the limits of control, a lesson that further enhances resilience in challenging situations. Accepting limits of control. Accepting the limits of control is a fundamental Stoic practice, reminding us that while we can shape our actions, we cannot force others to change. This principle encourages a peaceful detachment from toxic individuals, releasing the burden of trying to fix them. Think of it as a gardener who waters their plants diligently, but understands they cannot control the weather. Just as the gardener focuses on what they can nurture, you focus on your responses and reactions, knowing that others' behaviors are beyond your command. This approach doesn't mean giving up on people, but rather letting go of unrealistic expectations. For instance, if someone consistently undermines your confidence, it's liberating to acknowledge that their actions are a reflection of their inner conflicts, not of your worth. Accepting this truth creates space for emotional freedom, allowing you to respond with compassion or neutrality instead of frustration. This mindset shift gives you the clarity to invest your energy where it matters most, your own growth and peace. Moreover, recognizing the boundaries of your influence strengthens your self-control. By acknowledging that you cannot change others, you refocus on what you can cultivate within yourself. This acceptance acts as a foundation for emotional resilience, empowering you to stay grounded regardless of external pressures. As we dive into the next topic, let's consider how knowing when to walk away can serve as a vital tool for self-preservation and emotional well-being. Knowing when to walk away. Knowing when to walk away is a powerful act of self-preservation and a testament to your self-worth. It's about recognizing when a relationship, be it personal or professional, has become so toxic that it's hindering your peace and growth. Imagine yourself as a sailor on a turbulent sea. Sometimes the wisest choice is to sail away rather than battle relentless waves. This isn't about defeat, but rather about preserving your energy for waters where you can thrive. Walking away can feel daunting, especially when it involves close relationships or long-standing commitments. Yet, there's liberation in choosing yourself over a connection that drains you. For example, distancing yourself from a friend who constantly belittles your ambitions isn't about severing ties, it's about protecting your mental and emotional well-being. In doing so, you're choosing to surround yourself with relationships that nurture, not deplete, your spirit. This decision requires courage and clarity, but it's also a step toward greater emotional freedom. Walking away doesn't mean harboring resentment or wishing ill on those you leave behind. Instead, it's an act of stoic detachment, allowing you to continue your journey with peace and purpose. Now, as we approach the final topic, we'll explore how forgiveness can serve as the ultimate form of emotional liberation, helping you leave any lingering negativity behind. Forgiveness as freedom. Forgiveness is the ultimate release, a gift you give yourself to free your mind and heart from lingering pain. Embracing forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior, rather. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional weight of resentment. Picture it as setting down a heavy backpack you've carried for miles. By letting go, you unburden your spirit and make space for peace, understanding that forgiveness is less about them and more about your own emotional freedom. The act of forgiveness is rooted in the Stoic practice of focusing on what you can control. If someone has wronged you, your response to their actions remains within your power. Holding on to anger or bitterness only binds you further to their influence, whereas forgiveness breaks the cycle. Imagine forgiving as cutting a cord that has tethered you to past pain, allowing you to move forward without the shadows of unresolved hurt. It's a profound act of reclaiming your peace. Through forgiveness, you embrace a life of inner tranquility and autonomy. Practicing forgiveness can involve reflecting on past experiences and consciously choosing to release them, whether through journaling, meditation, or simply a quiet acknowledgement. This process transforms your pain into wisdom, strengthening your emotional resilience and aligning you with a path of peace and freedom. With this, we conclude our exploration, yet this journey of emotional mastery has just begun. Now that you've armed yourself with these strategies, the question is, will you put them into action? Each technique here is a step toward a life of inner peace and emotional freedom, but only if you decide to make them part of your reality. Are you ready to protect your mental space, to build boundaries that honor your worth, and to let go of what no longer serves you? The journey to true freedom isn't about changing others, it's about mastering yourself. As you begin this journey, remember every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a resilient, empowered version of yourself. Imagine a life where you're unaffected by toxic influences, where your energy is dedicated to growth, and where you choose who deserves your time and attention. What would that life feel like? The answer lies in applying what you've learned today. If you're excited to keep building this path of resilience and growth, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Together, we'll continue exploring powerful ways to master your mind, find peace, and elevate your life step by step.